All right, Canadians are buying and valuing BIPOC-related hockey cards more than ever. Here with more is hockey card collector and podcaster Dean Barnes. Dean, tell me a little bit about what we have here.
What we have here is in August 2021, I completed a set of all the black players who have played at least one NHL game, and I collected all the cards through eBay Canada, and it's really just to celebrate all the special accomplishments that these players have made over the course of their careers.
Now, I did a little bit of research this morning. Like, hockey cards first came about in like 1910 in cigarette packs, but I'm guessing there weren't a lot of BIPOC cards back then.
No, of course, because the first NHL player to play in the league was Willie O'Ree, played in January 18th, 1958. So there were players, just not in the NHL. So there's a rich history of players who played in the Colored Hockey League in the East Coast in Canada.
Now, you're a podcaster as well, and you'll be speaking about Willie O'Ree coming up. Tell me about that. Yeah,
Willie O'Ree, the first player to play in the NHL, will be on our podcast this Tuesday, and he's going to talk about his career. Many people don't know he lost eye as a teenager and managed to make it to the NHL, and also met greats like Jackie Robinson, who played in the Major League Baseball. So lots to share about his podcast, his story on My Hockey Hero.
How did you get into collecting these cards, and how hard was it to find them?
Through eBay, it actually was a pretty simple process in terms of doing some research, identifying, cross-referencing through various sources, and the cards would arrive in the mail. I'm really excited that we're going to be able to pay forward the contributions from the podcast. We're actually going towards Anthony Stewart's organization, Hockey Equality. It's a program to remove barriers for equity-deserving groups. So it was tough, but the motivation of making it better and telling the stories and sharing with young people across Canada has really been motivating for me.
All right, tell me about some of your favorite cards here.
Well, I mentioned Willie O'Ree, of course, and some of the cards are missing right now because they are on tour. Tony McKechnie is a player who used to play for the Buffalo Sabres, who was really a celebrated scorer. We have Pokey Reddick, who played for the Winnipeg Jets and Edmonton Oilers, who is a star player. And of course, there's Val James, who was the first African-American born player to play in the NHL. And many people also know Grant Fuhr, who is a Hockey Hall of Fame with the Edmonton Oilers. Is there value to these cards? Yeah, there's a value to the cards, and it ranges from $5 probably up to $100, and I assume they'll probably grow in popularity because more people are collecting cards of diverse players.
Tell me a little bit more about your podcast.
The podcast is a chance to bring the cards to life. It's called My Hockey Hero, and they're 20-minute segments that's narrated by me and talks about the trials and tribulations these players have gone through. Some have overcome racism. Some are just great celebrated Canadians that talk about their childhood playing hockey, and it's just an opportunity to celebrate the diversity that's existed in the game.
And talking about racism, what challenges do you think each of these players faced just to get to this level where they accomplished and where they achieved greatness?
It varies. Some experience in youth hockey, some experience in pro hockey, some is dependent upon where they were playing. But the flip side is many of it's very inspirational and just focusing and normalizing the experiences that lots of people play this game and have played this game for a very long time.
Have you spoken to any of these players for your podcast?
Yeah, both Tony McKechnie and Ray Neufeld are players that were actually both adopted and had terrific lives growing up in Canada and were really supportive of the initiative that I've been doing. Anthony Stewart is someone else, so I mentioned, that has an organization called Hockey Equality, and he's been very supportive of the podcast, and we're just trying to pay it forward and amplify the stories of all the players.
All right, and where can people find your podcast and listen to it?
The podcast is anywhere you find your podcasts on Apple or Spotify. It's called My Hockey Hero, and there's also a website called blackhockeycards.com.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time. This is quite the collection you have here.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Hockey bird, hockey bubble, hockey field, hockey floor, hockey ice, hockey kitchen, hockey road, hockey roller, hockey table, hockey twist, hockey. And I play hockey, 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 hockey all the time.